Hello, friends. I'm glad you're here with me today. Kind of hope you're taking today off because if you're in the US, today is Memorial Day and a holiday. Hopefully you'll get to spend time with your family. My daughter graduated from high school this week. So it's a time of change around our house. I hope the changes in your life are positive, even though they are de facto disrupting. But remember that everything wonderful that is currently part of your life was at one time unfamiliar, new, different. My new thing for the summer, post-pandemic, well, almost. I guess we're not officially yet post-pandemic, but we're getting there. But my new thing is to get good at identifying the sources of my discomfort. Quasi is here. Oh, Quasi, good to see you. Congrats on my daughter. Thank you very much, Quasi. If the reason that I'm not comfortable is just because I'm unfamiliar with something or someone, then I'm just going to ride that out because we're never going to become comfortable with something until we're at least a little bit familiar with it. Even if it's a great thing. Even great things, right? Rita's here. Hey, Rita. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Where's my title? There we go. Today, I'm going to talk about vocal fry. And, oh, Elspeth is here. Yay. Today, took me a minute. I'm like, Maynard. Who's Maynard? Today, I'm going to talk about vocal fry, creaky voice, glottal fry, glottal scrape, popcorning, all the names that this sound goes by. I'm just going to call it vocal fry today. But it refers to the lowest register of the voice. It's used in both speech and singing, intentionally and unintentionally. It can communicate something to your listener or not. It just depends. Vocal fry often gets a bad rap. It sounds kind of awful, right? It's kind of a sound that sounds like you might be hurting your voice a little bit. And while it is a vocal register, it's a register that's seldom, if ever, used in acoustic singing. So in your vocal training, you may have been warned off of vocal fry. You may have been told that it's ugly or harmful to your voice or both. If you were told that, no worries. You are in good company, my friend. But if you listen to popular, microphone singers, you can't help but notice that they all use that sound. In nearly every popular genre, you're going to hear every singer do it sooner or later. And, they can't all be destroying their voices, right? Can they? Maybe you've never actually been taught vocal fry, but you use it a lot in your own singing, and you'd like to get a handle on what it is and how to use it and how to teach it. Maybe you don't use it, but you'd like to, because, it can be really cool. It can be a really cool texture to add to your singing. So let's take a peek at all of that today. Let's look at the physiology of vocal fry, how to get that sound, and a couple of different options for using it. I am Meredith Colby. I support voice teachers to create confident teaching of teaching and singing of popular styles. I'm also the author of Money Notes, How to Sing High, Loud, Healthy, and Forever, which is a way to use brain science to teach healthy technique for people who... Wait, I didn't say that. Hold on. Money Notes, How to Sing High, Loud, Healthy, and Forever, which introduces neurovocal method. There we go. I'm getting a little too autopilot, you guys. A way to use brain science to teach healthy technique for people who sing into microphones. Now, my freebie today is a link to my free stuff page. My free stuff page, which kind of changes depending on what's going on. But today, it has a little info about the upcoming neurovocal certification class. Thanks for the thumbs up. Whoa, lots of them. Far out. Thank you. Neurovocal certification class and an option to sign up for my email list and get my free ebook that teachers rave about. And in fact, Rita Castillo's here, and she's one of the quoted ravers about that book. It also has a no strings attached link to, actually two. One to an article and one to a video, and they're both called 5 versions of vocal onset in CCM Pop. So you just click the link on that. So if you would like a link to that page, put Fry in the comments and the Neurovocal bot will send you that link. Also, you have to tell the bot that it's okay to send you a reminder about the broadcast because so please opt into those reminders so that I don't get fired from Facebook. Christine is here. Hello, Christine, darling. Hello. So I'm excited to say, this is the last time I'm going to say it, that the second and final offering for the 2021 of the Neurovocal Method certification class is sneaking up fast. I'm offering an Australia-friendly time for my friends down under, the Singapore, New Zealand, Australia people. Voice teachers who sign up today is the last day of early bird. But if you sign up today, you'll get a bunch of extra stuff for free along with the class. And if you're considering getting really solid with your teaching of popular styles, or maybe your singing of popular styles, I hope you'll take the time to get some info about this class. So, because in scheduling, in time, in pricing, applicable tools, professional respect, it's all aimed at the working voice teacher. It's all about brain science and popular styles. Super interesting, really focused. You can get the info page via my site, meredithcolby.com, where it is listed under the Voice Teachers drop-down menu, or by putting, where's my thing again? Fry in the comments, which will bring you to the page that will link you to the info page. There you go. Again, this is the last class of the year, and there are 2 times available, so make time to get that information. And that's not what we want. That's what we want. I hope you will share your thoughts and comments with me today. Or on the replay if you're watching this on the replay, or on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. If something gives you a takeaway, put hashtag that in the comments. Hearts and thumbs, of course, are always appreciated. And, okay, so there, I did all the stuff. Now, you may recall not long ago when an awareness of vocal fry in speech was all up in the media. Though they were by no means the only users of vocal fry, young women in particular were targeted for using vocal fry in their speech. Anyone remember that? Hands? The reports would claim that using that was pretty misogynistic, right? The reports, there's one, would claim that using vocal fry was an indication of lack of confidence, lack of strength of ideas, lack of physical energy. How we were all wringing our hands about the young women who displayed these character deficits through their manner of speech. But it turned out that female broadcast journalists were honestly and succinctly able to point out that their male colleagues were using vocal fry quite liberally as well. That, in fact, vocal fry in speech is more likely to be an indicator of where or when a person was born more than any other factor. So, not because you're a young woman. Funny that. So, these days, vocal fry in speech has been observed to be related more to age and culture than to gender, and vocal fry in singing is generally related to the genre being sung. It's been shown in studies and in real life that the use of vocal fry does not damage the vocal folds. So, note to self, guys, it does not damage the vocal folds. And in fact, when I posted this, I got a virtual high five from Lori Sonnenberg. Anybody know Lori? She's so awesome. She says she uses vocal fry as a tool in her voice therapy toolbox. She is a speech language pathologist and voice teacher, and she actually uses it for vocal therapy. So though it sounds to the untrained ear like it might be unhealthy, it's an efficient vocal fry is actually a very relaxed sound, not at all damaging to the voice. To produce vocal fry, the vocal folds are very short and loose, and the air pressure underneath them is less than when you phonate in any of your other registers. It's actually only slightly greater than when you're just breathing. I like to tell my students, like, if you were any looser, you'd just be breathing. It's not a loud sound. It's only about 70 hertz on average. And in fact, that may account for some of its bad rap in singing. So hear me out. Oh, hold on. Oh, I have to pull this down. Christine says, oh, I can't move that over. Christine says creaky door, as long as it doesn't sound, as long as it doesn't sound constipated. That's tense. Indeed. Indeed. That's the one we hear from our students from time to time. Hey, Leanne, I'm glad you're here. So anyway, so it's in order to do it in the creaky doorway that Christine just pointed out, it needs to be quiet, right? Like 70 hertz about on average. So the reason that it might get a bad rap in singing is that for acoustic singing, such as opera or other classical styles, that little 70 hertz is just simply not loud enough to be heard. So even if somewhere along the way, let's say Mozart was thinking to himself, you know, a really angsty vocal fry would sound awesome in this line right here, he wouldn't have written it because no one in the audience would have heard it. It's too quiet. But in microphone singing, where the electronic amplification is doing all the heavy lifting, vocal fry is everywhere. As long as singers, did I just do it? I did it on the word everywhere. Everywhere. As long as singers have had microphones, they have been using vocal fry. Bessie Smith in the 1920s, Billie Holiday in the 1930s, Elvis the 1950s, Barry White in the 1970s. Those are just the decades I pulled out. But in microphone singing, vocal fry is a texture that a singer can choose to use or not. And frankly, most do. Some singers use it sparingly. Some singers use it a lot. Mackenzie Parrott is a researcher from the University of Texas, San Antonio. And she did a little experiment. So if you're interested, I found this on Science Friday, which is one of my favorite shows. Big shock, right? She asked college students in her study to listen to 4 versions of the Star-Spangled Banner. A female singer with and without vocal fry, and a male singer with and without vocal fry. Students rated the female singer using vocal fry as more expressive. So, hold on. And the male singer who did not use vocal fry as more expressive. So don't let nobody in Nashville hear that, because the male country singers use vocal fry a lot. Parrott says, Miss Mackenzie Parrott, who did the study, said she plans to run that test again with identical performances and more test subjects. She said she didn't really like what the subjects were listening to, that the singers were different as vocalists. So she wants to get it more even. But you know what? Even her admittedly flawed study yielded interesting results. People don't know what it is that they're actually listening to, right? That's hence the more expressive or less expressive. A typical person cannot identify vocal fry as such, but they perceive a performance as being more or less expressive based on the use of vocal fry. I mean, not exclusively, obviously, but as part of the whole package. In speech, vocal fry tends to occur at the end of the sentence when the speaker is running out of air or running out of ideas or is expecting to be interrupted. Ladies, show of hands. But in singing, the fry is typically used as a type of onset, how we start a sound, usually with a vowel or an R sound. It can be used when a singer wants to sound sexy or intimate, angry, or a little bit tortured. One type of vocal fry is the more relaxed and open sound that you'll typically hear from country artists or singer-songwriters. So I pulled up Pink. Listen to the first 30 seconds of Pink singing All I Know So Far for an example of this. And this is me. I'm going to have to do a little stuff here. So hold on. Boop. And boop. Did I do it? Okay. I think we're good.
Haven't always been this way. I wasn't born a renegade. I felt alone, still feel afraid. I stumble through it anyway. I wish someone would have told me that this life is ours to choose. No one's handing you the keys or a book with all the rules.
So there's Pink singing, and you can hear all of that, how she's like leaning into the beginning of every phrase with a fairly extended vocal fry, right? So this type of vocal fry is most easily accessed using an ah vowel, if you're getting the hang of this, or if you're trying to teach it to your students. So let's do this. Let's take a nice easy inhalation, drop your jaw, like just a soft mouth, and then think of a sound, not a pitch. I love what Christine said. I use that too, this creaky door, and just say ha, ha. Now, if you feel that in your larynx, you may be trying to make it a little bit too loud. So, or you may be thinking of it as a pitch, which is causing your larynx to kind of shift functionality a little bit. So that sound should just feel like nothing. So to practice using this in singing, you can start by getting familiar with accessing the sound, like we just did, and then once that's easy for you, hold it out a bit, and then move it into a pitch, into a vowel. So here you are, you're saying ah, and then you just move it into a pitch. Ah, ah, except without the gunk. Okay. So when that's easy, plan your phrase, know what pitch you're shooting for, and take your time with it. Stay on that thing for a while. So then you're like, I was born a renegade. I was born. And then as you get the hang of it, you'll be able to make those onsets shorter or longer as you like. So then I was born a you can fix them and make them the way you like them. So another type of vocal fry is slightly different than that, in that the folds are a little more compressed. Now, singers tend to use this fry in shorter bits with brighter vowels and in faster songs. Again, they tend to, nothing's hard and fast. You'll find this more easily on an eh vowel, like an EH vowel. That, and when I do that, I can feel my larynx is a little bit tighter, and I can feel a little more resonance in my mouth when I do that. So you know what, you guys, it's the Britney Spears fry. It's like, oh baby, oh baby, that thing. So for example, I pulled up an example of Meghan Trainor using this vocal fry. Okay, wait. Boom, in the song I'm Gonna Love You, or Like I'm Gonna Lose You.
I woke up in tears with you by my side, breath of relief, and I realized no, we're not promised tomorrow. So I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna hold you like I'm saying goodbye.
Whoopsie. So you can hear how quickly she gets off of that sound, right? So those two sounds might not sound very different to you, and they're really not that different, because if you compress much more than that, you will get what Christine pointed out earlier, which is not a fry. You'll get that thing that wait, where is it? You'll get that thing that your students do, that really really tight thing. And so honestly, when you use the fry in your singing, your voice is responding to your intention for a sound, right? It's not responding to, I plan to use an ah or a slightly compressed eh. It's just, you're just singing. If a voice teacher is going to use vocal fry in either exercises or in styling, they should be able to help the student access an easy, open vocal fry that the teacher can hear is a relaxed sound. So remember that the vocal fry is the lowest register. So that means there's very little air pressure beneath those vocal folds and that the folds are very loose. So using an H in front of the sound can help the student make it more relaxed. It can also help to be aware of both pitch and volume. The student should think of the sound as being lower than their perception of their own singing range, or they should think of a sound like the creaky door. And they should not try to get any significant volume. Christine, you might disagree with me, but I think that when they're doing that really tight thing, that they're trying to make it too loud, and they need to understand that it's a very quiet exercise. Noises work best. I like the haunted house door, right? But you know what? If it reminds you of something else, or reminds your student of something else, go for it. Use whatever it makes them think of. It can be a mind game, right? The result should be relaxed, easy, and free of aesthetic value. So, thank you for being here with me today on this Memorial Day in the U.S. I am Meredith Colby. I support voice teachers to create confident teaching and singing of popular styles. My book and other information about the upcoming neurovocal certification class can be found at my website, meredithcolby.com. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I am grateful for your time and your attention, and I'll see you next week. Bye.